Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Oh God.
Generation X can go piss off because those nostalgia acts got
got
dead in the water as soon as they started making dad jokes.
Oh my God, they got fucking old real quick. Oh my God. Your poor nephew thinks he's Cuban.
Friend of the family, yeah.
I know, but still.
Uh,
Holy shit.
dumb people and running jokes that refuse to die.
Oh my God. God, or like the one time that fucking
Bad part is you can't explain
yeah.
any of this. Like, we can't explain this on the air because and
No.
you can never talk about this online.
No, you can't because no one would get it.
Because it's the kind of thing people would want to make into this SJ.
Yes, they would.
No, nobody's being racist. Nobody's being
Nobody's being
nationalistic. It's just literally something dumb teenagers say.
Yes. Yeah, like the one
of frustration, and nobody ever forgets it because it was so random.
Like remember the time that who was it? I want to say it was Harland that called us Eskimo brothers, and then we're like, "Oh, you're talking about Janet, aren't you?" I was like,
"Oh my God, I forgot about that till you brought it up."
Yeah, remember Harland kept calling us that, and it was like, dude, not at the same time, not even within each other. Oh my God.
First of all, boy, I am born and raised Georgia Southern borderline redneck. Yeah. I ain't never even seen an Eskimo in real life, let alone done nothing inappropriate with any of them. I'm not saying I wouldn't. You know, good looking Eskimo woman comes around. We gonna have to hear that. Might be on the freebie list just for the sheer. It'll be a good story in 10 years.
Oh my God! Good thing Kelly's nowhere tonight.
She took the pants off, but she left the poncho on. So yeah, it was a little awkward on the sensations there.
Oh my God. Yeah, Kelly's nowhere around, so she can't throw shit at you. So that's good. Oh my God. And then she hit me just for allowing this shit. And then the next question will be, who the fuck's Janet?
If she couldn't deal with this sense of humor, she'd have been long gone.
Long gone. Oh my God, good.
This isn't even the depths of depravity when it comes to our sense of humor.
Happy. Probably, well, it's close enough to Easter.
By the time this airs, it'll be Easter-ish.
Possibly. Man. I would like to say that Dave has had a few too many tequilas, and I've just been over here with a Rocky Patel B-52, and we're not talking the bomber, as
or the Love Shack people.
No, all from Georgia though.
Damn straight.
But it is a 3.5 inch cigar by 52 gauge. Dave saw that and he's like, "You're gonna smoke all that?" And he's like, "Yes." What do you think I'm gonna do? Just be like Robert Barnes and just have it as a prop?
Hey, I'm just saying. Pace yourself. You can't co-host podcasts when you're hawking up tar from your lungs.
Pretty much. And the key to that is if you inhale, you're an idiot. Seriously, you are.
Oh my God, dude. Super random comic trivia, but it just something about
what you got.
You're an idiot.
Does this involve Wolverine?
No.
Okay, good.
So you know the Red Skull?
Yeah.
Okay, at one
And
point,
kids, he is a Nazi.
quite literally.
He was made.
Okay, so at one point, he cloned himself a new youthful body so he could not die of old age before he beat Captain America.
And looked like, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember how in the cloned body he got his actual skull to be the Red Skull again?
Oh, God, he inhaled. I
So,
remember that shit.
yeah, he was using it. My cousin had the comic as just a random comic he had picked up somewhere.
Oh, he got
like,
lucky.
he was using a mask so he would look like his, original Red Skull look from the World War II era.
Yes.
And he was, well, one of his big things is he had this like weird chemical agent bioweapon poison thing that he was going to blow in Captain America's face. So he had a cigarette with the cigarette holder. So he went to go exhale on the cigarette, and not Steve Rogers. This was the brief period when John Walker was Captain America.
That's what I was about to ask. Was that the Walker era?
It was the Walker era, that brief period when he was Captain America and Steve Rogers was Nomad and then the original U.S. agent, and then he swapped identities with Walker.
Gotcha.
Who's the more famous U.S. agent.
Right.
Oh, briefly just the captain. I think that ran for like 2 issues before he did the Nomad thing for a while.
Right.
But anyway, so Walker goes ahead and decides to shoot first, and he sucker punches Skull, and Skull's so shocked, instead of exhaling the smoke, the poison smoke,
he inhales
it, and the effect is the mask bonds to his skin.
Oof.
It's like, and he was so pissed off. He's like, damn it. I had the ability to take the mask off and just like disappear into a crowd. I'm stuck like this again forever. The mask has become my skin now. Yeah, well, that's what you get for messing with chemical agents.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, gotta love that 80s comics.
Speaking of dynamite blown up in the face for a good while, let's get to Capcom. You're nice and liquored up. Anytime you talk about Capcom, you usually have to.
Hey, those shots of tequila have like mostly gone through the system. I'm just riding the post buzz.
There you go. Now,
I would not be recording if I was truly drunk.
Yeah, that'd be a different conversation altogether. And Apple would be like, thank God you list yourselves as extreme language.
We're about to talk about Capcom's business sense, so you're damn straight there's going to be some extreme language.
Very extreme language. Now, here you go.
We ain't even gotten worked up yet. That's just your warm-up, folks.
That's just the warm-up now. 2002 to March 2003, you got the GameCube. GameCube, it kind of failed to capture the market share. You remember that time? Good system. It was an excellent system.
Oh, great system. When you realize how many of those games have since become like icons of the era.
And on top of that, the control scheme was a little bit of a step up from the N64 controller, but that's still N64 controller is still your gold standard for controller that Gates and all of those competitors, including Sweeney, hasn't caught up with.
Oh, yeah. I remember when the N64 came out, we all thought that controller was insane and we didn't get it. But about an hour into a game, once you got your hand positioned right,
get your legs going, GoldenEye got to be pretty damn fun.
Yeah. But yeah. The N64 controller, once you gave it a shot and quit just looking at how odd it looked compared to what we had before, it worked very well for the button configuration. Like, It was a good controller. Yep, GameCube was a good. You could see the hardware evolution to it.
Yeah, and they tried to retain. This was their first foray into discs. That they couldn't do
Mini
cartridges
disc.
anymore because cartridge, you get expensive building a cartridge. But
But yeah, they started off with the mini disc, and again, I still have
I still
my
got a bunch of mine
GameCube that still functions. I still play it.
Now,
just because it got the Game Boy Advance player attached to the bottom of it.
Now, as we say, we're both
I can do the old school portable games on the big screen. That's good times. Wavebird wireless control.
We're both closer to 40 these days. I am 40 than we were back then when we first talked about this. When we were heading into our 30s. And you have a little more time to think about it and to see what happened. A lot more widespread damage that happened to both companies, but one company more than the other.
True.
It basically goes like this. Nintendo and Capcom were BFFs for the longest time, if you remember. Mega Man was one of the more prominent franchise. Basically, Nintendo had a monopoly on the market, and third-party developers were like, you know what? Let's kind of, let's just do everything Nintendo schedule. And then Genesis came along. Nintendo kind of had to relax some things. And then whenever they decided to do the cartridge-based, manufacturing costs, everyone moved to the PlayStation. But
yeah, so Sony definitely opened their wallets to lure third-party developers to the system, and
in the short term, that was great. In the long term, it hurt all those companies in the long term.
I think honestly the best out of that was Squaresoft because they're migrating of Final Fantasy to the PlayStation and basically rebuilding the Final Fantasy series from the ground up with number 7.
Yeah.
I don't like the game, but I cannot deny that, that pretty much sold the original generation PlayStation.
Oh, it did.
I'm like, it was a brilliant business move. And at that time, I don't believe Nintendo would have let them put that game on their console.
No, they wouldn't have. But
I mean, all hardware ability,
just
the nature of the game, I don't think they would have sold that to Nintendo.
Yeah. But short term, great move. Long term, how's Final Fantasy doing at the moment? Kind of,
Well, their pseudo time travel kind of sequel kind of reboot thing.
Yeah.
That's making money, but
otherwise,
I think after
what it used to.
I think after like 9, they started losing the bloom off the flower.
And I've got 15 on Stadia, and it's not. I'll play it. I'll finish it.
Wait. No. Was it? Which was the one that they did as an MMO? That was 11.
14. 11 and 14. Actually.
Yeah, 11 was on that. Yeah, 11 was when they started losing people because that decision to jump to MMO, and that was not a good MMO.
No, they didn't prepare people. And then 14 is, we have friends that play it. They've tried to get me to play it, and I'm just not interested. I've never been interested in the MMO format altogether, honestly. I mean, Nebbles tried to get me on there, and I told him, I'm just not interested, dude.
Yeah, I've tried different MMOs, and it just, I don't like the.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to address this real quick in a nutshell, and then we'll move back to the main topic here. My biggest problem with MMOs is You
everything.
being involved in the game never has any impact.
No, it
No
doesn't.
matter how many quests you do, you can turn around after spending 8 hours grinding through this massive dungeon with your buddies. And yeah, you boosted your own stats and got yourself a great item. But 10 minutes later, you can turn around and wander back in front of that dungeon, and it's reset for the next group.
Yeah,
It's the nature of MMO.
it
Everybody
is
has to be allowed to do everything in the game if they choose to.
pretty much
So nothing ever actually gets accomplished by you,
right now. Uh,
except for your own personal checklist. And at that point, I'm like, well, if it's all just about having a personal checklist, I might as well just stay on my tablet and play one of those restaurant simulators.
more or less.
I've bought all the this restaurant.
Now I got you. Here's something that Squaresoft at the time, after 11, as you said, that's when fortunes went down. You notice they had to merge with Enix. And you know what the better selling series out of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest is? Actually, Dragon Quest.
I was about to say worldwide, because Dragon Quest has always been bigger in Japan.
Yeah, it's starting to catch up in the US too. You seen the demand for Dragon Quest? The newest one?
Oh, not 9 did a lot to bring people back. The 3DS remakes.
Yeah, 3DS remake and the iPhone and Android makes too. I've got both.
Well, yeah, those were porting the older games. I'm talking about
but you know what I'm saying. No, it's porting 1
because
through 6.
remember, when they ported 5 and 6 over,
Yeah,
that was the first time those games had been officially available in
yeah,
America.
and they ported
Because
that
those
over
were
for
Japanese only originally.
yeah,
Yeah, they'd only been played as a fan translation
pretty much.
ROMs.
They ported them over to I want to say the DS or the 3DS, one of those.
5 and 6 were DS.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 were 3DS.
3DS, and then 5 and 6 also got ported to the mobile phone. I just grabbed those.
Yeah, I already had them on DS.
Yeah.
The only mobile ones I worried about was the first couple.
Yeah, I've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I believe. I might record playing those. I don't know yet. I mean, I can do it. It might be a little bit of a bitch, but
4 would be the best because that's broken up into chapters, so you could just like do Ragnar's run as a type thing.
Ragnar's
it's easier to do it in chunks
and Turnico.
There's defined breaks within the game.
Which no, my personal favorite is Turnico for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, dude, Tornico's a fun guy, aka Talon, depending on your translation era.
Yeah, Talon, yeah. But yeah.
He got the
he's just a family man.
He got the Dungeon Explorer spin-offs.
Yeah.
Which again were originally Japanese only, but
they brought them over, but no.
Oh yeah, but in more recent times, 11 has been doing gangbusters.
Oh yeah, on Steam. The only reason it's not picked up is people are waiting on it to go on sale. And I don't blame them either. It's a pretty damn good game.
Oh yeah, it's on my wish list, but
yeah, I might get that for your birthday. Depends. When your birthday is.
I got to double check some of my hardware settings.
Yeah, you might want to. Anyhow,
it's may have to use some tax money to upgrade.
You might have to. Anyhow,
but yes,
you got the stimulus too. But the one that suffered the most though from kind of turning their back on Nintendo was their former BFF. And everyone's like, well, that's kind of a biased point of view. Not so much.
Pew pew. Running gun.
Because how much it hurt Capcom in the long term is Capcom had to depend on Sony to get out their cash cow. And that would be Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign when it was your cash cow for the longest time.
Well,
And
yeah,
you've
but
got
those were after what our main topic for tonight is.
yeah. But that's
Because
just setting a
around
precursor.
this point,
That's
yeah,
setting a precursor.
yeah, because the PlayStation luring everybody away was the N64 generation.
Yeah, and they were trying to get people back for the
So that
GameCube.
was yeah, Sony got the later X games and the Mega Man Legend 1 and 2.
And until Inafune pulled his little coup there,
Yeah.
and no more X games or Legends. Anyhow,
Probably for the best.
who knows what 3 would have been, but
Legends 3, yeah, that frame that had potential, but
the rest of the X series was getting.
You could have dropped the last 2 or 3 X games and
You could
not
have.
hurt its legacy. And
Now,
moving to the Zero sequel franchise helped, but
it did.
yeah,
Which later helped.
because let's be honest, everybody liked Zero more than X.
Which did help, ironically, later the DS and the 3DS.
Yeah, because they got some that and. But anyway.
But this was post
So
a lot of slaughtering.
By the time of GameCube and the PlayStation 2, Capcom was willing to talk to Nintendo again. Well, come on back and say we're sorry. We took all our icons and tried to play with somebody else.
Yeah, and also
she was younger and hotter, but you're better to me.
But yeah. Basically, flagging sales happened. Nintendo didn't do too bad. They sold about 4 to 5 million consoles, which is not bad. It wasn't great for the juggernaut Nintendo used to be. So E3 happens in 2002. They announced 5 titles for the GameCube. A game called Piano 3, Beautiful Joe, Dead Phoenix, Resident Evil 4, and Killer 7. 5 games that would be developed by Production Studio 4, with Resident Evil 1 director Shinji Mikami as supervisor. This is important, by the way, because this relationship causes a lot of trouble later. The lone exception was Killer 7, which was going to be produced at Grasshopper Manufacturer, with Mikami as the co-writer, along with, well, we mentioned him last time, Suda51. Mentioned him many times.
And again, I found the Resident Evil 4 thing to be amusing because it's kind of the reverse action of what happened with our buddy Mega Man there, where it's like, wait, Resident Evil started off on Sony's PlayStation system.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it did. And now it's going to play with Nintendo.
Now, here's...
Wait. Hold on. Help me remember my timing here.
Yeah. What you got?
Did 4 occur before or after? I really was trying not to say 4 before. But was Resident Evil 4 released before or after Code Veronica? Because wasn't that originally a Nintendo exclusive as well? Or am I misremembering?
It was. It was released after Code Veronica, though. As this one's, my timeline's right, 2005. So early 2005 is whenever Resident Evil 4 happened.
So this was not the first Resident Evil game to show up on Nintendo, but this was a big one given the original director was showing up for it.
Yeah. Now,
want to get our context for later listeners, just in case they started going, wait, what about Code Veronica? Yes, we know Code Veronica. That's why we're clarifying here.
Yeah. Code Veronica did appear on another series, but that wasn't a part of the deal.
Another system.
Yeah. Now, Piano 3, or product number 3, is a science fiction themed third person shooter. Basically,
Yay.
one girl against a battling an army of robots. Typical story. Mikami did try to kind of differentiate it from the Devil May Cry series, another series that he had been on, by adding, defensive maneuvers, evasive maneuvers. There is only one problem. Capcom did not give him any time to do it. And it shows.
Yeah.
It shows a lot because Capcom just wanted to rush this out the door. Mikami, this was red flag number 1 for Mikami. A big red flag.
Oh, no.
So then we go to Beautiful Joe.
I'm out real quick.
Yeah.
And this showing why Mikami is Mikami-san.
Yes.
Since he didn't get to make Piano 3 what he wanted to make it, he took some stuff from that.
And we're going to save that because he saved that.
Okay, that's going to be part of a fallout later?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said
right.
That's a red flag. He did take some stuff from there. We're going to see that later. Now.
All right. Because just as I said, this is part of what makes Mikami Mikami.
Yes.
He doesn't just get mad.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't.
He bookmarks for later on.
Much later on. 2003, Beautiful Joe. It is a parody of tokusatsus. The monster, the fantasy, the horror, basically.
Coco Power Rangers.
Yes. What you talking about? Yes. Not to Ozzy, Chris. You negative bastard. Anyhow. Trapped in, basically, Joe is trying to save his girlfriend who's trapped in a movie. And he has to use the power of movies. Hideki Kamiya made this game. By the way,
Kamiya.
Kamiya also saw a red flag. Real quick. Here's how good Beautiful Joe was. Basically, it sold out the first 100,000 within less than a year. Lifetime total about 275,000.
Yay.
Yeah. Basically, Atushi Inaba, also a one person that's pretty important in this entire story, by the way. They all thought this was a success. Capcom Japan, on the other hand, broke promise number 1. They basically ported Beautiful Joe to PlayStation 2 with expanded features. Guess how much it sold?
See?
It did not even sell a quarter of what it did on the GameCube. 46,000. Metacritic gave it a score of 89 to 90.
So, Capcom undermines this lucrative deal with Nintendo that's supposed to repair bridges and doesn't even get good money out of this undermining.
Then there's a game called Dead Phoenix, which was a 3D shoot 'em up. Basically, it was going to be their take on Panzer Dragoon. Excellent series, by the way, Panzer Dragoon.
Oh, yes. Nothing against the Dragoon.
No, it's a excellent series. Basically, they were going to do the release in mid-2003, but then Capcom canceled it. But at 2003 E3, they said, oh, it's still in development.
You lie.
By the way, you will see Dead Phoenix again in another representation. It became the new DS Kid Icarus.
But
no
it
joke.
should make note. That means the Capcom 5 deal was only a Capcom 4 deal because of this.
Oh, and also, by the way, we did mention that Mikami, he was getting a bit steamed at this point.
Yeah. So it's like,
Anyhow,
made me release a game that was 2/3 acceptable to me at best. You canceled another game in the series. You took the game that you let release and let us make properly, and undermine the whole purpose of the deal to put it on another console for more money, and barely got any money out of it. Heck, they probably lost money given the PlayStation sales, since they would have had to pay somebody for the job of porting.
Yes.
Porting does take time and coding effort, folks.
A lot.
It's an investment.
Anyhow, we get to Resident Evil 4, 2005. Leon S. Kennedy, who is now a Secret Service agent. He, let's just go ahead and not suck its phallus completely. It's an excellent game.
It is. Personally, I've always enjoyed the interplay between Leon and Ada Wong.
Yeah.
They're more interesting to me than most
now
groups within Resident. Most of them they're just so professional playing off each other.
Oh yeah.
Leon and Ada have fun with each other.
But Kamiya turned this into turn one version into into Devil May Cry.
Mostly because
one of the prototypes was that good.
Yeah. Mostly because Mikami, who was a little annoyed in general principles at the time, was not 100% sold on what Kamiya wanted to do with Resident Evil.
So he took over. Basically,
Mikami was head of the team. We should reiterate that.
Yeah.
He pulled a Vince McMahon and said, nope, we're going to rebook this an hour before the event starts, pal.
And holy hell. Basically, Resident Evil was supposed to remain confirmed as a GameCube exclusive. Mikami stated he would cut his own head off if it were re-released on another platform. Again, Capcom made him look like an idiot.
Now again, Resident Evil 4, what Mikami wanted, was comfortable putting out, was a very good game. We're not completely pissing on Mikami for changing Kamiya. If nothing else, it gave us the Devil May Cry series,
which is also a pretty good series. Basically, the surprise announcement undercut GameCube sales, which was 1.6 million. PlayStation 2 got 2 million. Mikami was furious at this point. He apologized to the Nintendo fans, but Nintendo fans didn't hold him responsible. Metacritic put both versions at a 96, and it got Game of the Year, mainly for the Nintendo version.
Yep.
Then we get to the last game, which further hurt Capcom. And it shot this person straight to the moon. But he also vowed never to work with Capcom ever again.
No, wait. Hold on real quick. I know we're going to talk about the Fallout. But let's just backtrack. One quick note about Beautiful Joe. We'll go into the details later.
Yeah.
Should be noted that whilst Capcom of Japan was no doubt upset that the port did not spawn what it wanted to in sales, the initial GameCube sales were strong enough that, yes, Joe did get several sequels.
Oh, yeah.
So let's note that. They were upset that their scheme didn't get them, the sales they wanted to from the PlayStation, but they didn't take it out on the game itself. So we'll do the full franchise details later, but I just wanted to throw that out for folks, because as we said, some of these, Resident Evil 4 was already part of an established franchise.
Yeah.
Joe did manage to launch one.
Yeah, and it's the only one that stayed with Capcom, let's say that.
Yeah, as I said, we'll go through the full one later, but
yeah. Now, Killer 7 basically developed at Grasshopper Manufacturer under Suda51. It was an on-rails control scheme. Very different if you don't understand how on-rails works. At the time, it was only a 74 on the Metacritic score.
Yeah. I personally was familiar with on-rails because pre-existing arcade shooters.
Oh, yeah. Basically,
the infamous House of the Dead being a great example of an on-rail shooter.
Yeah. But basically, Suda concentrated on story and visual work and then loaded in the controls later. Basically, it was a multi-console release. The 74 was on the GameCube. That was the best received version. And a plot and a conflict between the Japan and the United States. If you're a Kotaku writer, you were probably confused by it because this is speaking from experience from working with that group. They're not very smart. None of them are very smart. So,
oh no.
Basically, it got compared to Myst, Snatcher, and the other old school adventure games. However, it still has a cult status. With limited appeal, of course, but a cult status nonetheless. And in fact, you know what this prompted to do? Suda was like, hey, I could probably do this. And he never worked with Capcom after that.
Whoopsie.
You think we're kidding?
Nope.
Nah. After Capcom 5, he never worked with Capcom ever again. The sales weren't up to their standards, but he decided, let's remake 2 games. One would be called The Silver Case, which I'm working on, and Flower, Sun, and Rain. Then we get another game that he releases to pretty much rave reviews on the Wii. The misadventures of one Travis Touchdown.
You see, the problem is your hero quantity is no more.
Yep. Oh, and for those that are wanting to back check, No More Heroes was released on Ubisoft.
Yep.
Shadows of the Damned, the next game that he worked with Shinji Mikami, by the way. That's a little prelude, was released on EA.
Oh, and Killer 7 was eventually
re-released.
remastered for Windows
in
2018.
But not through Capcom.
Oh, no. Because by 2018, he had that Travis money.
Yep.
He doesn't need you.
Yeah.
You got to admit, by the time No More Heroes sales kind of stabled out on the Wii, you feel like Suda did basically his version of the CM Punk shooting on Triple H.
He did.
I don't have to work with you.
You got to work with me. So, yeah.
Uh,
So, here's what happened. Dave did precursor it. After they released Beautiful Joe 2, they turned Team Beautiful into Clover Studio. And then they closed Clover Studio in 2006. By the way, Resident Evil 4's PlayStation 2 release, the studio only produced 2 new IPs before it closed in 2006. The other one was, I want to say Okami was one of them. Yeah, Okami was one, and I'm trying to think.
The Insane God Hand.
Yep. By the way, they closed it.
A strange game.
They closed it in 2006, following the resignations of Atsushi Inaba, Hideki Kamiya, and Shinji Mikami. Also, Yoshio Komodo resigned 3 years earlier, as he knew how this deal was going. Former Clover developers charged that Capcom's corporate management was reluctant or actively opposed to risky new ideas. By the way, this also prompted the director of Mega Man, Keiji Inafune, to resign 4 years later. You want me to repeat that again? Your 3 top directors of your games resigned in protest.
Yes.
And they cited...
Mikami was part of Clover.
Yeah. All 3 were. And they prompted management was actively opposed to risky new ideas or reluctant. And he also, in a statement that's repeated throughout Japan, due to the PlayStation 2 release of Resident Evil 4, called them honorless dogs. Which, anyone's wondering, what does that insult mean? In Japan, a whole fuck ton. That was basically a AAA director saying that his studio had no honor, no regard for contracts. In Japan, that's not good.
Yep, that's pretty much as bad as you can burn somebody.
And you want to know what the bad part is? The public believed them.
Well, yeah, with everything Capcom did during this Capcom 5 deal. Oh, by the way, among the things Inafune did after this, the 2009 reboot of Bionic Commando.
Yep. And that was it. He was done.
Yep, published by Capcom, but after that it was like, okay, I fulfilled my contract. Seacrest out.
Yep. But Inafune has his own issues. Yeah, we'll talk about the embarrassment that's Mighty Number 9 much later. That's a mess and a half.
Yeah, that we'll probably save that for a general.
Yeah.
Future catch-all topic of
Kickstarter fails.
Great idea on paper.
But it was a fail in execution. As our buddy Rabbit pretty much says every playthrough he does of Mighty Number 9, he does the same James Rolfe refrain, what were they thinking?
Although it does say something that God bless him, he does keep playing that game.
I know. Anyhow, 2008.
Better him than us.
Right. Platinum Games comes around. And they create the Platinum 3.
Yes.
Man, was this a hell of a ride too. 3 Nintendo exclusive. No, 2 Nintendo exclusives and 1 multi-system. Mad World, which is pretty fucking fun.
Yeah.
Then Infinite Space, which is a real-time tactical. Pretty good game for the DS. And then that 8-foot tall, sexy witch, whose clothes is actually her hair, I think.
Yep. Bayonetta.
Yep.
Yeah, because when she does her super kills, it requires all her hair. You get the soft core, very specific angles for a couple seconds there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you notice they tweaked that for her moves in the Smash Brothers series.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, and we did mention Suda51, by the way. He re-released his old stuff, put out the No More Heroes series, Shadows of the Damned, and hold on, what's some other games he did? Lollipop Chainsaw? Yeah, Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Suda did fine.
Now, it should be noticed, wow, games, while like Bayonetta was initially put out on the PlayStation 3,
Yep.
it would see release on the Wii U when Nintendo decided they would go ahead and front the money for Bayonetta 2, which became a Wii U exclusive.
And also re-released on the Switch, both games.
Yes. And again, this is one of those things where Nintendo and Platinum did a brilliant thing. Bayonetta 2 comes out on the Wii U. They bundle it with the Wii U port of Bayonetta 1.
Uh-huh.
It costs the same price as a standard Wii U game.
Yep.
They gave you a 2-in-1 because they wanted to acknowledge, yeah, look, we know that, the first game didn't come out on this system. We know we have a lot of, we know a lot of Nintendo fans don't necessarily own every system.
Right.
So yes, we're going to port it, but we're going to put the port out as a freebie basically for buying Bayonetta 2.
And you know what?
That was one of the big things that got me to pick that game up for my Wii U. I was like, well, hey, I'm getting 2 games in one, so even if I don't absolutely fall in love with them, it's a good deal.
And you know something? Gosh darn it, it worked.
Oh, yeah, I did fall in love with them anyway, so.
So, by the way, Mikami, you mentioned he would reapply everything later, right? From Piano 3?
Yes.
Yep. Little game called Vanquish. Yeah.
And Bayonetta 1.
Uh-huh. Oh, by the way.
Oh, Platinum also took some money from Nintendo for the Wonderful 101.
Which Shinji was not involved in. That's another story.
True, but just saying that game did well enough. It's getting remastered versions for the Switch.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's the thing. Basically, commercial failure of a woman-driven game made Capcom kind of reluctant to do future female leads, which would bite them in the ass later, by the way.
Yeah, I find that hilarious because, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Y'all built Street Fighter off Ryu and Ken's story, but we all liked playing as Chun-Li.
Or Cammy for the cheekiness.
For the later releases of Street Fighter 2, yes, Cammy came in.
Which by the way, the hilarious part. Yeah. Hesitant to do female leads.
Yeah.
Which Mikami was like, check out this 8-foot tall, black-haired witch with nice bazooms. That has guns everywhere.
Bayonetta is a in personality is very much the classic femme fatale. It's like, yeah, she's got a heart and some sympathy in there, but you got to wait until she runs out of ammo before she'll show it to you.
Pretty much. And as we mentioned, she has guns everywhere, including those high heels that make her 8-foot tall body even taller.
Yep.
We're not kidding. She has guns in the heels. Play it sometime. It's not all cheesecake. There's a story there. Now,
I will say real quick on Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Yes, her default configuration, which you'll use for a good chunk of the first game, first time you play it, is, gun in each hand and a gun on mounted to the back of each heeled boot. But if you are a good explorer, you have a bit of a strategy guide to work from, you can unlock alternate weapons, including a very nasty whip that goes along well with her personality.
Pretty much. Now, basically, Capcom, that bit them in the ass, not having female leads because of a certain group that we shall not name, 3 letters, of course. And
just plain the fact that as we got into the 2010s, that people kind of got tired of big muscular men in general principle.
Now,
plus Nintendo's sitting over there laughing, going, "Oh, please. Have you ever heard of Samus Aran? We didn't put out a game for like 8 years with her, and she's still one of the biggest deals we've ever owned IP-wise.
In fact, here she's back. The Prime series, kids. That sold quite a bit.
We threw some money at this quiet little company called Retro, and yeah. They just made more money than you did this fiscal year.
Yep. So basically, Resident Evil 4, Mikami did something with it. The over-the-shoulder stuff has pretty much been seen in Gears of War, Batman Arkham Asylum. The aiming sight's been in Dead Space and GTA. This was good things, but people got a little pissy because it abandoned the genre's essence and it forced it into combat and action. But you can deal with it. It'll take a while. They'll get back to it.
In 4, it's there. You can see the beginning of the shift. It was the next few Resident Evils that got really ridiculous with it. What was it? Which was the one takes place mostly in Africa?
That's 6.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, you're just going to spend a whole level mowing down zombies. It's like,
oh no.
That's literally not why we play Resident Evil 4.
I think it is 6. I'll have to look.
It's either 6 or 5, because 7's when we got the redneck family with the virtual reality thing.
No, 5 is the Africa attack. 6 is the 6 is the hell. Oh, that's the BSAA. That's the government agents. Yeah, I remember that now. I was right. 5 is the one in South Africa, which, by the way, got a whole lot of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow.
Yeah, I just remember 6 because of the spider web logo.
Yeah.
Also, brilliant cover design. I'm going to go ahead and say that. It was. As many problems as I have with 6. That cover was very eye-catching.
Oh, yeah.
At least in North America. In Japan, they ruined it by having the crowd shot behind it. It got too busy.
It did. They did remake 4 for the Wii. It also received a high-definition re-release for the Sony PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. They were kind of meh. And then the remake of Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0 for the GameCube also received a remaster. They were pretty good, actually. And computer ports. Here's where the big where you could tell that Nintendo was still a little pissed. Super Smash
again,
Brothers Brawl, by the way. Here's where
real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
What you got?
Let's just go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
PN03 was not a complete trash game.
No.
It's the fact it could have been so much better if they had just let Mikami have his development calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just give him another 4 or 5 months.
At least, yeah. But they weren't going to.
Right. Yeah.
They weren't going to, so he left. So here's
Smash Brothers Brawl comes around.
2008. Nintendo brought in Solid Snake from Konami and Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega. Yeah, we said it. They made up with Sega a long time ago. In fact, Sega plays ball with them.
That was during the GameCube era because I've got that Sonic Classics collection.
Yeah. They played ball together pretty well. Sega's like, you know what, Nintendo? You're not too bad.
Well, once Sega decided to get out of the console hardware market, I mean, it was like, yeah, no, we're good.
Kotaku had to actually report that Nintendo refused to include a character from Capcom due to the betrayal.
Yep.
It would take another 6 years until there were Capcom characters allowed in Smash Brothers. 2014, Mega Man and Ryu appeared as playable characters.
Yep. And Ryu was DLC.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I like his stage more than playing as him.
Yeah.
Like, his stage is a beautiful stage, and it's fun to fight on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryu, and of course, in the most recent Ultimate, they added cain, and
but that's about it.
That
really is about it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look at the master list here. That's rare.
Cain, Ryu, and Mega Man are the only ones they've left. They've had.
Ooh, yeah.
So Nintendo is still not forgiven or pretty much forgotten.
No, that's how it was. And again, I think, isn't it the only reason they put Ryu in was like most of the DLC that he won a fan poll?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. They put Mega Man in because,
he's Mega Man, and he's had a long-standing relationship with Nintendo, for better or for worse. And also, there was no Inafune to deal with in that one.
True.
So, basically, it failed to flag support from third parties, which continued all the way until the Nintendo Switch, where third parties pretty much were left with no choice but to work with Nintendo.
I mean, there was some. It started back again with the Wii U, but Wii U was the transition point for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Switch is where it's come back full circle, whole hog.
So nobody wanted to deal with Sony.
Oh, they're Konami.
Huh? Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm still double checking our list for.
Yeah. But no one wanted to deal with Sony with the PlayStation 4, because a lot of the fans were complaining about Sony censorship.
And of course, it hasn't gotten much better with the 5.
Nope. And nobody really wanted to deal with Microsoft because the current president is clueless. Let's just be blunt.
Yep.
He's clueless. So the other side of the story is it took Nintendo quite a while. 2017, 2018, they recovered. They've been rolling along since. They've seen numbers about SNES numbers with the Switch. And in fact, and I'm going to say this pretty aggressively, go to your local Walmart or go to your local GameStop. Those are still open, by the way. Or any place that sells video game machines or your Target. Try to get a Switch.
Yeah, you might find one or two in the store if you catch them right after a shipment.
And a Switch Lite, forget about it.
I'm sorry, the Switch.
But no, just in general. I
understand the purpose of a Switch Lite,
yeah.
But
no, just in general, Dave. I mean, try to find a Switch Lite even.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying if I ever break down and actually go ahead and get the Switch.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get the full shebang. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the full shebang because I want to hook it up to the TV.
Yeah, but just finding a Switch Lite.
Yeah, that's up there too, but
yeah, just to find a Switch Lite even was yikes.
Now, what I find amusing though is because we were discussing this earlier with the Switch, they left the disc market. Switches are put on like the DS and 3DS,
kind of an SD card type deal.
Yeah, they're essentially the modern equivalent of cartridges. It's all come full circle.
And the good part is they're pretty strong. They take abuse.
Oh yeah.
An SD card is pretty hard unless you just smash the thing with a hammer.
Yeah, you can intentionally break it, but it's not a CD, DVD where, you set it on the counter wrong. You can put a scratch in it that'll cause some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty strong
SD
software.
Flash memory technology is leaving discs in the dust.
Yeah,
it's going to be amusing to see how long it takes Sony and Microsoft to abandon that format.
Well, they're already trying to go to streaming and cloud, which may work, may not. A lot of people are hesitant to do it. A lot of old heads to do it because they think, "Oh, they're not going to own the game," or blah blah. And it's the same argument every time.
I'll give you some with actually just the digital download of games instead of having the physical CD.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's on your local hard drive.
Yeah.
But yes, a flat out cloud streaming, I admit, I'm like, because I'm trusting other people to maintain their stuff for data I paid for. At least if you give me a local download option,
right,
I know I have some control over the longevity of that data.
Oh yeah. But yeah. Here's the thing. Nintendo was hurting for a little while with this, probably about 15 years or so, maybe 10. Not as long as Capcom's been hurting.
Yeah.
Capcom and before the deal had expected losses of $103 million for 2002 fiscal year. And then they posted $163 million in losses by the time of 2005.
Whoops.
They basically wanted to put Nintendo's deal as a scapegoat. But a lot of Japanese media pointed that, no, you were in the red way before Nintendo's deal.
And since you couldn't even honor the terms of the deal, it's kind of hard to say that the deal was bad.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if you had done the deal like you had claimed you would.
Oh, they took a hit in Japanese media. Not so much the American media, who doesn't pay attention to the nuts and bolts. That's my one gripe.
That would take a few more years when they started self-sabotaging the Street Fighter franchise.
Yep.
It's DLC. No, it's data you locked onto the disc behind
No. Before that. Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3. That's when it hit. You know what I'm talking about.
Was that the first time they did it? Because they did it for Street Fighter X Tekken too.
They did it for both games. Both games came out at the same time.
And there are Street Fighter characters in MVC, so
yep,
half credit.
So yeah,
because you can't have a fighting game involving Capcom and not have at least one Street Fighter character show up.
Yeah, for both of those games, they locked out characters, and you had a full game, but you had to pay for DLC.
Except it wasn't DLC because it was on the original disc, so it's not downloadable content. You're basically paying
for an incomplete game on purpose.
Yeah, and it's like this. I understand because this is an old thing. Hey, if you play the game really well after you beat a certain mode, you'll unlock the characters that have technically been there all the time. That's fine. That's just as you play the game. That's no extra financial investment.
But wait, you have to pay an extra $10.
The data that you already paid for is to pay more money. That's just extortion.
And by the way, you know how well it worked? It didn't. Capcom had to release an Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 where everything was unlocked for the $69.99 price tag.
And then when they showed they didn't learn their lesson and did it with Street Fighter X Tekken as well, there's a reason that we never got the Tekken X Street Fighter pseudo sequel.
Yeah.
Because Namco went, no, we're not working with you people anymore. What the hell is wrong with you?
And then when they merged with Bandai.
Bandai wasn't putting up with any of that crap.
They pretty much said, what deal? Oh, you did it with Namco? And Capcom just kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, I think the closest those two have come to working together after that is that they both still have representatives in Project Cross Zone. But there's a reason that's all funneled through Monolith Soft.
Pretty much.
It's like, no. I'll deal with Capcom. I'll deal with you. You two don't have to talk to each other.
More or less. So.
Yeah.
That's the deal they've had for years. It really is.
Yeah, because it was in both Cross-Zone games.
So.
There were represented both companies. They didn't talk to each other directly about that.
But here it is.
That's fine.
But here it is in a nutshell. Remember we talked about at the beginning, by the way, Dave, that they had to go to Sony? Yeah, we're not kidding.
Yep.
In fact, let me go ahead and type in Street Fighter 5 here on the office computer.
And who funded Street Fighter 5? I'm not even saying who funded the ports. Who funded it even being released on arcades? Hey.
I'm going to see if it was 5 or 4 that they funded. Not because, but
5. Because that's the latest one they've done.
Yeah, I'm going to check
4. I think they just funded the porting. But I think 5, they ended up helping them finance the arcade machines because they were stupid.
No, you're correct. You're correct. They had to do the arcade, which was Japan only.
Well, to be fair, the arcade market's pretty much died in America, and that's a sad story for
worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah.
The original.
The arcade market is still very strong in Japan, but yeah, you're lucky if you have a proper arcade in your area.
And yeah, it was 5. 5. Sony did have to help develop it for the arcade.
Yep. As I think 4, they helped finance the port.
And also, they ended up having to break the exclusivity with Sony because it received mixed reviews. It sold, they wanted to sell 2 million copies at the end of 2016. They only sold 1.4. It reached 5 million last September, but they had to port it to Windows.
Yeah, I was about to say, because
yeah, they had to port it to PC, which Sony had to agree to. And Sony's getting a cut because they broke the agreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also DLC heavy, by the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Unless you get additions, yeah.
Yeah. I will say, while I pretty much don't play any Street Fighters past the Alpha series.
Yeah.
The Alpha series and the 2 series are all right, but I will give them credit for continuing to keep Final Fight characters alive post Alpha. Like, they've worked them into 5 and 4 as well.
Yeah.
So I will, as a fan of the Final Fight series, it's like, okay, that's, it's nice they're doing something, since we don't talk about the 3D reboot.
Yeah. But no, honestly, Capcom is still kind of hurting, even though they've sold 5 million copies of Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, let's see. On Steam, we have Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition plus Season 5 Premium Pass Bundle.
Yeah.
Season 3 Character Pass.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot.
Pro Tour 2016 pack. 2018 Premier Pass Pro Tour. Of course, Street Fighter X Tekken has a lot of DLC too. So yeah, basically, Capcom, the easiest way to sum up the whole Capcom 5 deal is Capcom let their greed and executive meddling screw up what should have been a great deal for both parties and the reestablishment of what had always been a lucrative partnership. Capcom a bigger bite to the butt, and they didn't even learn their lesson.
And even to this day, they're still kind of paying for it. I mean, it got to a point after Mikami's arguments, there was you remember that Remember Me, that game? Don't worry if you don't. Nobody else does either.
I remember hearing of it.
I played
Does that
it.
count?
Yeah, I played it. Decent enough. Capcom realized that they had to take a chance. It just wasn't a good one. Yeah, it was released by a French company, I believe. Don't Not Entertainment. Yep, French developer in 2008. And they did the game in 2013. And if I remember, Don't Nod are the same people that did Life is Strange. That was their only relationship with Capcom. Remember Me.
Yep.
They're the folks behind Life is Strange. So they just weren't a very good company. People might like Life is Strange. We're not any, people that do, but you get the idea. Capcom was looking for anyone to work with them or looking for Western talent, since nobody in Japan was willingly wanting to work with them. Or they might work with them, or they were trying to develop original IP here and there. I think I'm trying to remember Ashura's Wrath 2012. And that was by CyberConnect 2, who did the Dot Hack series.
Which is definitely a full-blown episode by itself.
Yeah. And that's the only game that they've done with Capcom was Ashura's Wrath.
Well,
so a whole lot of
I think we
shots.
managed to meander and wander through a while here.
Oh yeah, we did, but that just gives a general idea. Capcom has not had the hits that they've wanted, and they've went to the Mega Man well a lot.
No, don't get me wrong. Going back to the classic series, they've done that well.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to fund their whole company off what, Mega Man 11 sold, but
nope.
At least they put some people on the project that know why the Mega Man games were worth playing to begin with.
But in the end, it is what it is. It really is, kids. So, next episode is going to be a catch-all. It's going to be a general catch-all. So we like doing those every once in a while. Oh, and
yep.
Yeah, I've also got a new show that's incoming probably in the next few weeks. I guess we can do the bumper for that. Do you want to do it? Not the recorded bumper. That's going to come later.
The trailer.
The trailer. Yeah. You almost you almost thought I was pulling your leg when I sent you those two samples, didn't you?
I wasn't sure how serious you were digging in with this at first.
Yeah.
You've thrown ideas out there just to see if they'll stick to the wall.
More or less. But a new series, probably a new channel altogether, just to separate it from our stuff here. A series is going to be called Blue Collar Philosopher. I'm going to explore the various dogmas and philosophies of the world. And you saw the list too. You were like, Jesus.
Oh yeah. Once you showed me your full set of research notes, I was like, okay, yeah, you've put some thought into this.
I think from what discussing with Neville and you, I think it's gonna end up being a 2 shows a week series. You know, not about like a regular class, not too heavy. It's not going to be like this show. It's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes or so. But it's just to get the meat and potatoes, the who, the what, the where, and the why, and sometimes how of each dogma. Which when I showed you the notes on that one subject, I you you looked at me funny whenever you were like, "Holy crap, this guy did this." Yeah, he did. Cato the Younger, who basically told Caesar in no uncertain terms to go fuck himself in the middle of Senate.
Yep.
Yeah. What would anyone else would have been shitting their pants, wouldn't they? Yes. Oh my God, he's the mighty Kaiser. Cato, on the other hand, saying, fuck you, dude. Your politics are shit. You're an incompetent leader. And then he tells him why. But yeah, there's a little bit of that in there. And you know what the hardest part's going to be, right? The rule that I'm holding myself to, the no cursing. That's going to be hard.
Yeah. I try to hold that rule to the game stream there. I slip occasionally and try to, correct myself and apologize because, this show's for a certain demographic, but some of the other stuff we do on the channel, we try to make as widely appealing as possible.
But it's like I said, though, the philosopher stuff, I am going to try to not curse. Nah, I'm probably going to keep it pretty, pretty to the point. Basically, the entire premise is I'm going to try to make philosophy accessible to the regular Joe. As if you think about it, it's not all that hard, is it? Some people just try to word it.
No.
You can't understand this. You have to have an advanced education. Bullshit.
That, and you have the other side, which is people try to put too much of their personal beliefs against the philosophy. It's like, no. You just need to understand the philosophy first, then decide if you're going to subscribe to any of it.
Right.
Don't from the get-go say, well, this philosophy is wrong because it disagrees. No. You're never going to get anywhere doing that.
No. It's like, there are some philosophies that I don't like, but I'm not going to tell you what that is because that's going to defeat the point. I mean, off the air, you know what I don't like, and I think Neville knows what I don't like, and various others. I think even Nerd Wonder heard me getting an argument with someone that believes in one philosophy, and it's like, I'm not going to tell anyone on the air what philosophies I don't like. Because if I'm trying to tell you what philosophy is, that's going to defeat every purpose. Like you said, leave your bias out of it.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying is, it's tricky to do, but
someone has to.
We always do our best.
Well, that's it for the show. We've bored everyone long enough, but yeah, there's our revised Capcom 5. Things have not changed since the last time. Capcom's still scrounging for money. Nintendo's doing pretty good, actually, all things considered.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, try to find a Switch anywhere. Outside of eBay, of course.
Yeah. Trust me, it is not because Nintendo refuses to make more.
No, they make them. Then people buy them.
Yep.
This Corona stuff has made business boom for them, ain't it? Oh, well. Well, that's it. That's the show. Take him out, Dave.
So long. Thanks for all the fish.